Welcome back to our series, Making a Deal. We're going to be talking about stages of the deal with this episode. Sure, it's a good question. I think you can analogize it to dating, courtship, engagement, marriage, followed by the honeymoon. And I think as we talk through, you'll see the similarities. Well, just like with that first date, a lot of times you get cleaned up, you get prepared. And particularly for the seller, it is preparing the business to have it be shown and hopefully sold. So certain things such as cleaning up the financial statements, making sure they're accurate, that they look good. There may be some deferred maintenance on various major pieces of equipment that needs to be done. Cleaning up the shop or whatever it is, just so it looks good when those prospective buyers are coming in. So quite frankly, they're going to be impressed, just like you hope to impress with your first date. So then your next stage on that, a lot of times, is the due diligence. This is where information is being shared back and forth, getting acquainted, just like you get acquainted on a date. The buyer is getting acquainted with the seller's business. It's looking at financial statements, contracts, learning about the employees, more about the business. And correspondingly, the seller is learning more about the buyer, making sure they have the capability to do the deal. So it's very similar to the early stages of a courtship. Well, just like with an engagement, there is a commitment there. The wedding hasn't occurred yet, and just like in a business deal, you haven't finalized the deal yet. But normally what you're doing is you're signing like the purchase agreement and other agreements that go along with it, which lay out the things that have to occur before you actually close the deal, such as getting your financing or getting landlord approval. All the things that have got to transpire in there, but you're laying out what your basic commitment between the parties are with the hopes of finalizing the deal, just like you hope that you're going to have the wedding down the road. So there's a similarity there. Well, just like a couple who's contemplating marriage, they're looking at their finances potentially for a budget. What do they make? And they may also be financing a new home, which they hope to move into. So it is similar on a business transaction that you have to have arrangements made for the purchase price. And that may be the negotiations, the discussions with various lenders to see who has an interest. And sometimes it is the seller themselves who are going to be doing the financing of the deal, where they're going to, what we say, carry back a note where they will get paid for the purchase price over time. So just like with a marriage relationship, the financing, the money is very, very important in a deal because it's not going to happen without that. Well, just like you've alluded to, sometimes there are deals that don't go. Financing, maybe you can't get that. The buyer can't get qualified. Or issues may come up in the due diligence, things which the buyer and the seller just can't work out. But assuming that all those things are worked out, just like you have during that time before parties get married, you then have the actual closing of the deal. And that is, just like with the wedding, that's the official. The closing of the deal is where you have the transfer of the money, and you have the actual transfer of the assets. That's the big event that you've been working on, you've been planning for all that time. Well, from the seller perspective, they've received the purchase price, they may be going to retirement, they may be doing other business endeavors and with the funds that they've gotten. And so they are pleased about that. A lot of times they've been working the business for a long time. They may be tired, they just want a change. For the buyer, correspondingly, they're coming in with new enthusiasm, new ideas. Many buyers are coming in, they have plans to expand the business. And so hopefully it is a win-win for both parties. The buyer is thrilled to be owner of the business going forward, and the seller is anxious to go on to new stages of their life. Thank you for joining us as we explore the stages of the deal as part of our series, Making a Deal.